What's up guys, it's Nino. So I got invited to TwitchCon in Rotterdam, which still sounds kind of unreal to me because if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I've basically been living in my gaming cave for years. But somehow I ended up packing my bags and heading to the Netherlands for my very first convention. And honestly, I had no idea what to expect. But before we start, a huge thank you to Xsolla for making this trip possible. Xsolla helps streamers and content creators earn more money by turning creative ideas into reality. They also help publishers reach wider audiences and make payments safe and easy with hundreds of different payment methods available in over 200 countries. For game developers, Xsolla handles complicated things like international payments, taxes, and banking through their pay station, so developers can focus on what they actually want to do: make games. If you want to learn more, check out the link in the description below. Now, let's get back to the adventure. The trip started with a flight from Hamburg to Amsterdam. And can we talk about how insane this is? The flight was literally 40 minutes. 40 minutes. I think I've spent longer deciding what Netflix show to watch. By the time I got comfortable in my seat, we were basically already landing. But honestly, it felt amazing to leave Hamburg for a bit. Who knew touching grass could actually be nice? Anyway, after landing in Amsterdam, I headed to my hotel. I was absolutely exhausted. So naturally, I took a strategic 2-hour nap. Not because I was tired, obviously it was a tactical preparation for networking. Definitely not accidental. A few hours later, it was finally time. My very first TwitchCon. And I was excited and nervous, most excited. Maybe 50% excited, 50% socially terrified. The journey there was already interesting because public transport works differently than what I'm used to in Germany. Eventually, I arrived at TwitchCon, and my first thought was, this place is huge, absolutely massive. I looked at the map looked back at me, the map was not helping. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I ignored the map entirely and went exploring, and honestly, that was probably the best decision. Everywhere I looked, there was something happening. There were competition areas, community spaces, meetup zones, activities, games, people everywhere. It felt like every few meters there was another thing demanding my attention. At one point, I found this giant Lego area, which honestly looked pretty cool. Then there was a huge Streamlabs and Logitech setup where streamers were broadcasting live. I have no idea how so many famous creators were there. Then I found the Yamaha area. People were literally performing and singing live on stage. And I have to mention this because my electronic piano at home is actually a Yamaha. I've had it for about 10 years now. So technically, Yamaha has been supporting my musical side longer than most people have known me. Everything was being streamed live too, which made the whole convention like one giant content machine. They had one of those spin to win wheels where you could win merchandise. And listen, I don't care how old you are, if someone offers a giant prize wheel, you spin the wheel. That's just the law. I spent too much time wandering around because realizing that I should probably go to the actual reason I was invited. So I left my side quest behind and headed towards the Xsolla partner meeting. This was where game developers, creators, publishers, and industry people come together to network and connect. Basically, the place where business happens. Now, if you're expecting me to tell you that I confidently walked in and immediately started networking, you clearly don't know me. My unsocial cave-dwelling self entered the venue and immediately forgot how conventions work. Years of sitting at home apparently reduced my social skill to a beta testing status. So naturally I grabbed an Aperol Spritz and sat by the water. My plan was simple. Observe. Blend in. Pretend I knew what I was doing. Surprisingly it worked. I ended up talking to quite a few people. Everyone was incredibly friendly. I even got a goodie bag, which automatically makes any event at least 35% better. And also, can we take a moment to appreciate Rotterdam because wow, what a beautiful city. The architecture is so different from what I'm used to. There are tall buildings everywhere around the water, but they have all their own style. Nothing looks the same. Day 2. TwitchCon. This time I actually slept properly. I even got to enjoy this ridiculous bathtub in my hotel room. Seriously, look at this thing. I felt like I was in a luxury spa instead of preparing for a gaming convention. Back at TwitchCon, I started exploring areas I had completely missed out day one. One of those was the chess section. Now, before any chess players get offended, I never learned chess. Then I wandered into the artist alley, and honestly, this was one of my favorite parts of the convention. There were so many talented artists selling their work. Prints, stickers, keychains, socks, pins, custom art. Basically, every form of merchandise you could imagine. Then I found a giant Minecraft area. And before anyone gets excited, no, I'm still not playing Minecraft. I tried figuring out what was happening there. People seemed very enthusiastic. There were activities, challenges, crowds. I still have absolutely no idea what was going on, but everyone looked happy. That's so nice. There was also more karaoke, and honestly, some of these people were insanely talented, like actually talented. I stopped and listened for a while because some of the performances were genuinely impressive. I also discovered tabletop gaming area. Now maybe some of you can help me identify what I was looking at. Another thing that stood out were the playtests areas. Some of the booths were decorated so beautifully that they felt like actual movie sets. You'd walk in and instantly felt teleported into the game's world. The attention to detail was incredible. I also found the Just Dance area. Nope. You will not see footage of me participating. I only dance in private, alone, at home, where no evidence can be collected. Thank you for understanding. Towards the end of the day, I finally found the Twitch Partner Lounge, and naturally the first thing I investigated was the food. Of course. What did you expect? Networking? Please. Priorities. After securing snacks, I spent some time looking around and seeing if I recognized anyone from social media. And surprisingly, I did. I spotted Sweet Anita, which was really cool, and I also saw Vlad. At that point, I considered asking for a picture for about 3 seconds. Then my social anxiety reminded me who I am. And before I knew it, it was already time to leave for my flight back to Hamburg. So unfortunately, no pictures. Maybe next year. And just like that, my TwitchCon experience was over. Honestly, I had an amazing time. I met interesting people, so incredible creators. Creators. And most importantly, I remembered that leaving the house every once in a while isn't actually that bad. Who would have thought? Huge thanks again to Xsolla for inviting me and making this trip possible. And thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been to TwitchCon or if there is another convention you'd like me to visit. And next year, maybe I finally stay for the after party, or maybe I'll host an underground techno rave. We will see. Cheers. Nino.